Security challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
I feel really let down. I want to just make an observation that the state governments have failed us.
The quest for local government autonomy suffers another setback as Senate submits constitutional amendments for presidential assent. And Senate committee hosts stakeholders on the exiting of the police from the nation's contributory pension scheme. Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside the Senate. I am Hussaina Amina Abuki. The Senate took a break from plenary on Wednesday the 25th of January to allow senators actively participate in the campaigns for election with their various political parties. It is billed to resume on the 28th of February 2023. Before then, it considered and approved the resolutions of 27 states on the 35 bills amended in the Constitution. Other reports are on a motion calling on the CBN to extend the deadline for the change of old naira notes, insecurity in parts of the country, as well as reports from the committee room. I urge you to stay tuned for details after this short break.
The Senate will send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that.
Raise a matter of urgent public importance, and we are aware that when this particular motion comes up for a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. High point of plenary on Tuesday the 24th of January 2023 was Senate's consideration and passage of the 35 bills that have met the conditions for the passage of the Constitution 5th Alteration Bills 2023. In a motion titled Passage of the Constitution 5th Alteration Bills 2023, presented on behalf of the Chairman, Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution and Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Oma Agege, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Bamidele Okoyomi, said that Section 9, Subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended provides that an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution can only be passed when it is supported by 2/3 majority of the members of the Senate and House of Representatives and approved by 24 state houses of assembly. He added that in compliance with this constitutional provision, 27 states forwarded their resolutions on the amendments being sought. He listed the states as follows:
Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Ekiti, Enugu, Imo, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Rivers, and Yobe have forwarded their resolution on the bills.
He also gave the list of states that have not given their resolutions as follows: Gombe, Jigawa, Kebbi, Kwara, Oyo, Plateau, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Taraba. Added that some of the areas approved include timeline for the presentation of appropriation bills, timeline for the submission of ministerial or commissioner nominees, power to summon the president or governors, replacement of the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation with the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the federal government, separation of the office of the Attorney General of the Federation and of the state from the office of the Minister or the Commissioner for Justice, State of the Nation and State of the State's address, constitution of members of the Council of State, restriction on formation of political parties, as well as fundamental human rights, amongst other things. The former Senate leader, Senator Yahya Abdullahi, expressed disappointment that one of the most salient issues, the local government autonomy bill, was excluded from the resolutions approved by states.
That is the local government autonomy and legislative autonomy, financial autonomy for local governments and the legislature. So even if these other states that are outstanding, make their own submissions in a positive way, which I don't expect anyway, even if they do, these bills will not pass. So, Mr. President, I feel really let down. I want to just make an observation that the state governments, have failed us.
Yet, the following resolutions were adopted. Direct the clerk of the National Assembly to transmit the 35 bills that have so far met the requirements of Section 9, Subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution to Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation for assent in line with the provisions of the Act Authentication Act. And urge the states that are yet to forward their resolutions on the bills to do so in fulfillment of their constitutionally imposed legislative obligation to the Constitution amendment process. Meanwhile, the Senate, for the second time in less than 1 month, called on the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to extend the deadline for the change of old naira notes to new ones from January 31st, 2023 to 31st of July 2023. The first move opposing the deadline was sponsored by Senator Ali Ndume on Wednesday, the 28th of December 2022, with a resolution that the deadline be extended by 6 months. In another motion sponsored by Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar on Tuesday, the 24th of January 2023, the Senate reiterated its position on the need for the extension of the deadline. We have the report on this alongside other matters considered by the Senate. It is presented from our studio.
Senate is aware
Coming
that
under
the
matters of
withdrawal
urgent public importance, Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar drew Senate's attention to the fact that the time limit is too short, alongside its scarcity of the new notes.
there is no enough new notes in circulation, and in fact the banks, ATMs that should be dispensing new notes are still dispensing only the old notes, and citizens still have a lot of old notes that they are unable to deposit in the banks. And right now there are uncontrollable queues in several states in the country.
Senators contributed in favor of the motion.
People who are in the rural areas don't have access to the new note. Even those of us who are here, the other day I went to an ATM machine, I put in my DC about 3 days ago, it gave me old notes. I'm supposed to take new notes, but I still receive old notes. The people have sent their old note to the bank. When they go back to the bank,
I think you need to round up.
They are
please.
still taking, they are still receiving old notes.
The CBN deadline of 31st is essentially in our market started last week. So, Mr. President, I think we should go beyond the technicalities and the statistics being churned out by CBN and appeal to the central bank governor to have an extension.
However, one of the senators opposed the motion.
Nigeria is probably one of the countries in Africa where money, cash, is used arbitrarily. Many countries, they still believe in using electronic transfers or using money electronically. I do not think that this argument stands, because we need to join the international community in their banking system. So I want to oppose this motion. I want to stand with the CBN that the argument they have enunciated is good enough, and we have to bear the pain temporarily, because at the end of the day, we shall be better for it. Thank you, Mr. President.
The following resolutions were adopted on the motion. Urge the CBN to immediately extend the period for the use of old notes by 6 months, from 31st of January to 31st of July 2023. Urge the CBN governor to compel banks to open an exchange window where those who don't have bank accounts can change their old notes to new ones. In a related development, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has finally extended the deadline for swapping of old naira notes from 31st of January to 10th of February 2023. Earlier on that day, Senate President Ahmed Lawal read 3 letters from President Muhammadu Buhari seeking Senate's confirmation of nominees for appointment into positions in various establishments. The first sought Senate's confirmation of Mr. Solomon Arase, former IGP, as Chairman Police Service Commission. The second letter sought Senate's confirmation of 2 resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). There are Dr. Mahmoudou Issa, Kebbi State, Dr. Mark Omobaye, Ondo State. The third letter sought Senate's confirmation of the following as members of the Code of Conduct Bureau: 1. Murtala Kankia, Katsina State; Zephaniah Bulus, Nasarawa State; Farouk Umar, Yobe State; Abdusalam T. Olawale, Ondo State; Professor Juwairia Badamasiu, Kogi State. The nominees will be referred to the relevant committees for more legislative action.
The program is Inside the Senate. Time now for the Senate Notebook. Please stay tuned.
The gavel is a mallet used by the presiding officer during the Senate plenary or committee proceeding for commanding attention, announcing the end of a deliberation, or confirming a legislative action. It is so important that it is used by all legislatures around the world.
Thanks for staying tuned. Inside the Senate will continue with reports from the committee rooms, where on Tuesday the 24th of January 2023, the Senate accorded accelerated consideration to President Buhari's request for the confirmation of a former Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, as Chairman of the Police Service Commission. We have the report as compiled and presented from our studio.
Well, one thing we have to emphasize is that
the screening of Mr. Solomon Arase by the Committee on Police Affairs, to which it was referred, took place same day that the request was presented. The exercise saw the nominee answering question on his plans to resolve the differences between the Police High Command and the Police Service Commission.
The way the Police Service Commission is structured, they don't have that expansive reach, to cover the whole federation just like the police will do. But what I discovered is that the incumbent IGs always made sure that they had no conflict with the Police Service Commission. Because why? If you have conflict with the Police Service Commission, the IG does not have anything to lose. The Commission does not have anything to lose. The people who we have to think about is the welfare, just as the distinguished senator has said, is the welfare and the motivation we are going to give to the officers. So that is why, as of necessity, there must be a balancing. The strategy that was adopted that time was that the incumbent IGs will always write to the Police Service Commission, asking for some powers to be delegated, to them for the promotion and the recruitment of people from constables to then it used to be inspectors. Later they took it to DSPs. We can still adopt that.
Committee Chairman Senator Halliru Dauda Jika also had this word of advice to the nominee.
The Commission Amendment Act is before the Senate. So it's good for you as a lawyer, now which are coming on board, to liaise with work closely with the board committees of the National Assembly, that is the House of Representatives and the Senate, to make necessary inputs in addressing those gray areas that is bringing all this conflict between the Police Service Commission and the police force.
Senators described the nominee as a gentleman officer who they believe will take the commission to greater heights, as a result of which they resolved that he should take a bow and leave, with the promise that they will present a report to Senate plenary.
IG, you may take a bow and leave.
I'm here to represent the Senate President.
In a related development, Senate President Ahmed Lawan has advocated better planning for the enhancement of the lives of policemen after service. He made this plea on Friday the 20th of January 2023 while declaring open a public hearing on 2 bills, namely Police Pension Board Establishment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Elisha Abo, as well as Nigerian Police Special Forces Establishment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Ali Ndume. He was represented at the hearing by the Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Ajayi Borofis, who spoke on the proposal of the two bills.
There are proposals concerned about growing the capacity of the police to respond to threats to our collective peace. Achievements of the agencies regardless, we are still challenged by the need to continue to grow their capacities given the changing dynamics of criminality and the requirement to increase our ability to forestall them. It is this reason I think sponsors of the bills have imagined a special force while the board bill is concerned about the pension board, so that we can properly prepare for their life after service.
Speaking on the two bills in his welcome address, the committee chairman said it is common knowledge that the after-retirement period has become a challenge to the lives of retired police officers.
It is also worthy to note that the sister security agencies of the police, Nigerian police forces, such as the Nigerian Army and the Directorate of State Security, DSS, has operated in independent pension scheme. Furthermore, the need for an academy for professional training of the Nigerian mobile police and special police forces cannot be overemphasized. Let me assure you that the committee will properly scrutinize all submissions and inputs from stakeholders with due cognizance to professional background and the need to improve the life of the officers, which is sacrosanct in achieving a job satisfaction.
The sponsor of the police pension bill stated that the disparity between the pensions of the police and other security agencies led him into sponsoring the bill.
When I look at the disparity between the defense, intelligence, and security cycle, the difference in their pension with the Nigerian police, and I looked at the lives of policemen after they finish serving the nation for 35 years or more, and the kind of life they live out there, and you put them in comparison with their colleagues in the defense, intelligence, and security sector, I feel strongly that we are being unjust to the policeman on the street.
The sponsor of the Police Special Forces Bill said it seeks an upgrade to the Mobile Police Training Institute in Limankara Goza, Borno State, to an academy.
In those days, most of the civil unrest was handled by mobile police. Once mobile police are called in a situation where we have unrest, people are comfortable, people are sure that it will be addressed and taken care of. Unfortunately, the needed funding and attention was not given to that institution, and therefore gradually it started losing its status and effectiveness.
With this, the technical session kicked off with submissions by stakeholders in support of the passage of the bills.
These bills, gradually sponsored by distinguished Senators Mohammed Ali Ndume and Senator Ishaku Elisha Cliff, are germane to the strategic leadership vision of my administration as defined following my assumption of office as Inspector General of Police of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The two bills are critical to the manpower development plan and personnel welfare of the force. I can assure you that the swift passage of these bills will undoubtedly boost the morale of the personnel of the force as we continue to passionately serve our fatherland, and also strengthen the operational capacity in responding to current and ensuring dynamics of internal security threats, particularly banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery, terrorism, and others.
The military and other sector services have their own independent pension scheme. Why should we be discriminated against? We sacrifice our life. Well, in from the society, it will be unfortunate if the society now refuses to appreciate our effort. So I think I stand here to defend and adopt and say that pension board should be established, and that will be a milestone contribution of this assembly.
The officers who are on the field should be disillusioned, have no hope. Even when they come out, they cannot pay for their medical bills. You reduce them to nothing. So that's why we have come to the temple of justice, that you people should look into our plight. There are many. I cannot read all of them because of time.
First and foremost, the contributions made all this while till now by PENCOM, according to them, they invest the monies. When you invest the money, you get dividends. When people contribute money that are invested, you give them share certificates. We've not been given any share certificate up till now. We don't know how these monies are being invested. What dividends come out from these dividends? You are telling them to remain there. We have said that we don't want to be again. I'll just say it colloquially. Now by force. Gentlemen.
Some other stakeholders were on ground to oppose the passage of the bills with reasons as follows.
Number one is the sustainability of the funding of the additional pension liabilities. Number two is safety and transparency that has been inbuilt into the current system. Number three is the risk to the financial system that this will cause. And number four is the pooling benefits of the contributory pension scheme. We cannot afford to go back to unsustainable, opaque, corruption-laden pension system. The military pensions, which the police are pointing to today, they are not having it all their own way. Only recently, in the papers, you can check it, the military personnel, they were protesting. Why? Because their pensions were not paid. Yes.
The CPS is fully funded as against the DBS. Under the DBS, what you have is your budgetary provision. These funds are not actually there. So as at the time you are working and you are returning, you are working on a promissory note. You don't know what you are going to get, or even if you know, the funds are just not there. That is why the old system failed.
Let's take our profile segment. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Einaya Abaribe represents Abia South Senatorial District, first under PDP before changing to ABGA. He attended Government College, Umuahia, for his West African School certificate in 1974 and the University of Benin for a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degrees in Economics in 1979 and 1982 respectively. He was a lecturer at the Ambrose Ali University, Epoma, in Edo State from 1982 to 1985, after which he took appointment with SCOA Nigeria as Area Manager, Southern Nigeria from 1985 to 1991 and 1991 to 1992. He was also a Senior Manager for Investment at Nikon and Chief Executive Officer of Integrated Mortgage Limited. He joined politics and was Deputy Governor of Abia State from 1999 to 2003 and resigned to contest as Governor of Abia State under AMPP but lost. He contested to the Senate in 2007 and won, serving 4 terms from 2007 to 2011, 2011 to 2015, 2015 to 2019, and 2019 till date. He was the minority leader of the 9th Senate before abdicating the position after decamping from PDP to ABGA. His legislative interests include promotion of homemade goods, economic development, and education.
With this, we come to the end of the program. Join us next week for another edition, and thanks for watching.